Anyway, and then I'm incensed, I tell you. I got my brilliant and most excellent question in early, and still I was ignored, and dare I say, abused by the negligence of the great and powerfully polite Dave Sim and the quote, allegedly, unquote, manly Matt. Ow. Okay, I'm done. I probably got lost in all the is there or isn't there a phone drama. No worries. I'll get back to writing the book now. As a diligent Cerebite, I am resending the question. So, May 5th, 2025. That's how far back we're going now. To Diamond Dave and Manly Matt. The Cerebus trade collection wars between Steve Jeppy, Bill Shanus, Bud Plant, and yourself back in the late 1980s. They were upset over Aardvark Vanaheim distributing the High Society trades, or phone books. Letters were written, phone calls exchanged, and a few convention speeches were fired at each other. You promised they could distribute the second print, and that ended most fences. This brief summary of events leads to questions for Dave. Did Bud Plant or Bill Shanus ever apologize over their behavior or the threats to Puma Blues? No, I'm one of those guys, and I'm pretty sure that Bud Plant and Bill Shanus are the same kind of guys where business is business. You should never be apologizing as if you've wounded somebody emotionally because of the way that you conduct your business. Um, that was certainly the case when Bill Shanus and his brother were and Steve Shanus were running Pacific Comics, and they were uh, distributors of Cerebus. We would have disagreements about things, and we would talk them over and just come to whatever it was, like an understanding of what was going on. And then the same thing happened when Bill Shanus, after Pacific Comics folded, started working for Steve Jeppy at Diamond Comics. So it was always the case that Bill and I would have what they call in the diplomacy game a frank exchange of viewpoints. Um, but essentially, Diamond was a big enough distributor, and then was the only distributor that it was the 600-pound gorilla theory. Where does the 600-pound gorilla sleep? Wherever he wants. Um, Bud Plant, I don't even know what the situation was um, after the falling out um, over um, Aardvark Vanaheim distributing High Society exclusively um, by mail to individual customers. Um, Bud Plant was a distributor of Aardvark Vanaheim stuff at that time, um, but that had sort of evolved. Bud Plant was pretty much the number two, but a close number two to Phil Sewall and Seagate Distributors. And then as Diamond got bigger, um, I'm pretty sure the situation was that Bud Plant bought um, books and comics from Diamond Comic Distributors. They became a sub distributor, and consequently, there was no direct contact between myself and Bud Plant either Bud Plant as an individual or Bud Plant as a company. It's very possible that Bud Plant at that point went, that's it, I am never carrying another thing that Aardvark Vanaheim publishes ever, which, as far as I'm concerned, is Bud Plant's prerogative. If he doesn't want to carry Aardvark Vanaheim, then he doesn't carry Aardvark Vanaheim. Too bad for Aardvark Vanaheim. But in terms of apologies, no, I was doing what I thought was the most sensible thing for Aardvark Vanaheim, where we were, pretty much always hanging on by our fingernails, and then suddenly there became this possibility of printing 6,000 trade paperbacks, selling them by mail, and suddenly having, $150,000. That the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, as they say. But I could certainly understand why the distributors and a number of the retailers were saying, that's not fair. You're successful because of us, and now you're cutting us out of something that would be profitable for us. I could understand that, but it was definitely, there was sort of an ill will on my part because you buy this many copies of, say, ElfQuest, and you buy this many copies of Cerebus, and I don't see it as being that Cerebus is, that fraction of what ElfQuest is, which actually Cerebus was in terms of popularity. Quality is an individual assessment. So all of those things go into, the decision making that goes on, the decisions that I made and the decisions that Steve Jeppe and Bud Plant made at the time. I did understand that you could read it as them threatening the Puma Blues, but really they were just calling a co-equivalence. If you're going to pick and choose what you're going to sell us, we're going to pick and choose what we're going to buy. And I think the more logical answer at the time would have been, well, that's just the way it'll have to be. If the Puma Blues is no longer viable because not enough distributors or retailers will carry it, then that will just have to be the situation with that. But again, I don't think there was any need or call for apologies on anyone's side. We're all looking at the same chessboard, and different people are making different decisions, and however those decisions affect other people, those people will just have to live with it. And that was on both sides. That was when I tried to bring Kevin and Peter into the situation of saying, I think this is logical. I think I'm entitled to decide the means of distribution that I'm going to have for a book. But I'm just one guy. What's your reaction to it? And as I recall, their reaction was pretty much the same reaction that I had. And of course, that eventually spiraled into the Creator's Bill of Rights. And it's like one of the rights on there was that we had the right to choose our means of distribution. And I thought, well, okay, that closes the book for me. All of these other rights are interesting, but that was the one that I was here for. But again, you can't legislate against what the repercussion is from choosing your means of distribution. Yes, you have the right to do that. No, you don't have the right to force other people to like it or go along with it. You saw Steve Jeppy at in a convention bathroom of all places, where things were patched up. There is also a photo of you at a baseball game with Jeppy many years later. Was all forgiven between you and Steve at that convention, or was it a process? Again, it's like forgiven. What do you mean forgiven? It's business. I made my choices. Steve Jeppy made his choices. We did talk it over, and I think he better understood my position, and I better understood his position. But I don't. It was never. Um, I don't think you can run a successful business with the idea that if somebody hurts my feelings, I expect them to apologize to me, and then I have to decide whether I forgive them or not. You wouldn't have a very successful business community if it was run that way. I'm pretty sure that you know feminism having been incorporated, that's probably become an element of business, but I think it's probably not to the benefit of business or anybody participating in the business. Uh, have you spoken to him since the Diamond bankruptcy began? No, I have uh, Steve Jeppy's phone number, and if there was ever another occasion when I would have to talk to Steve Jeppy, um, the then I would use the phone number. But although Aardvark Vanaheim is Diamond Comics vendor number 4, literally the fourth publisher that they signed up with after they began. Um, there's no way that I'm a big enough profit center for Steve Jeppy or Diamond Comic Distributors that I should just be calling Steve Jeppy randomly. Um, mu- uh, to the extent that it was possible, I had all of my contact with Matt Demery, who was our Diamond rep, um, and occasionally I would go over his head to his boss. Um, if it was a situation where I was asking about, are you interested in buying, like a quantity of trade paperbacks, and what kind of terms do you want? Here's the kind of terms that I'm offering. In which case, it would go to him, and then presumably from him to his boss, and then from his boss to Steve Jeppy, if it even needed to reach Steve Jeppy. Uh, but certainly by the time of the Chapter 11, I wasn't even in contact with Matt Demery. It's like Diamond had become so small a part of my business that it was now something that I was using to help train Eddie Kana as my successor. That he would be the contact with Diamond Comics distributors, and through Matt Demery, and then would keep me informed of how things were going. It's like things weren't really going by the end, and I didn't know what the situation was. I suspect it was just cash becoming a lot more scarce um, than it had been for Diamond Comic Distributors, and they were just keeping up with Cerebus and Hell, and not really even contemplating buying trade paperbacks when they were low on a supply, or it would take 6 months or a year for them to get to that point. Um, but I don't have any ill will against anybody uh, in that entire category. It's um, I would be I would be happy to talk to Steve Jeppy if he wanted to talk about something, but I really assume that Steve Jeppy and Diamond Comic Distributors and Alliance Games as the new owner have much bigger fish to fry than it's Dave Sim on the phone. Please hold for Dave Sim. No, please hold for Dave Sim only works here. Thank you, MJ. Hope the book's coming along to your satisfaction, and that we'll all be able to have a look at it before too much longer.